mind is that you can truly become successful if you can master this one thing. Like literally out of all the things that there are to learn in our business, right? If you can learn how to develop leadership, that's really the magic, that's really the magic to this whole thing. And, today I'm going to break it down. Like when you get off this call, you're going to have a clear picture of exactly what to do. You're going to be like, whoa, I get it. And it was interesting. Like, I had this dialogue with a leader the other day and they were like, holy smokes, Tim, I've been in Riman for almost 2 years. And hearing what you just trained on, my mind is complete. I mean, now I get it. I totally see it. And this person's about to be a director, so they'll be a director at the convention. And it was awesome to see people that lights just turn on for them. So, when you look at developing leadership, to me, it's the most important subject, right? Because as we get people in, it's all about leading them, right? It's all about helping them get to where they want to go and helping them succeed. A lot of us, when we get started, we're like, hey, can we really do it? Or can I become successful? Those were the thoughts that I had anyways. And the reality is that if you can help other people win, you're automatically going to win, right? And that's what I love the most about this business is it's all about helping people achieve their success, and then yours is taken care of. So today I'll break it down for you. And when you walk off this call next Friday, I know I'm really excited about the training on how to rank advance fast, right? I had somebody come up to me the other day and say, how'd you guys get the national director in 6 months? How'd you guys do it? I'm like, you know what? I told Chris, I said, I was over at his house last night. I said, we should probably come up with a training to teach people exactly how we did it, so we can help everybody make a lot of money quick. But tonight's really going to help unlock a lot of, there's going to be a lot of light bulbs going off for a lot of people. So I'm going to dive into the training right now. I don't want to dance around my background. I got involved in this direct selling industry 30 years ago. I was at a point in time in my life where I needed something to work for me. Was in high school at the time, struggling in school, knew I wasn't going to graduate. At the time in my life, I was homeless. I was living on people's couches. And when I couldn't find a couch to crash on, I'd climb on top of a Alderwood Elementary School in Irvine and sleep up on top of a portable. And so when I got introduced to this concept of becoming successful financially, I got excited. Needless to say, I was like, wow, you know what? Getting around wealthy people, finding out what they know. And I became such an amazing student. And that's something I still do today, right? I still look at my back in my journals, back in those early days of all the notes that I took. Somebody gave me a cigar case one time. I don't smoke cigars, but apparently they gave me a cigar case and it's got like this humidifier in it that keeps it like at a certain temperature or whatever. So I'm like, what can I do with this? I said, well, let me put my journals in it. So I have a case in my office right over here where I keep all my journals. And sometimes I'll go back at those journals and remember exactly how I felt at the beginning and those ideas and concepts that were taught to me. And I would go to events just like this, but we didn't have Zoom. So we had to drive out. I used to have to drive 2-3 hours sometimes to go to trainings, and I'd videotape them. And I would go home and I would write down every single word that the speaker would say. Because I figured if I could do exactly what they do, I was going to get the same results, right? If I could say what they say and do what they do, I would get the same results. And that's exactly what happened. It doesn't make a difference about your background. Doesn't make a difference about how, obviously I never graduated high school. So it doesn't matter how smart you are, right? We've got doctors that are having massive success in Riman. So if you're smart, that helps out too, I guess. But nothing matters more than your heart and helping people and developing them. So I'm going to get into this today, how to develop leadership. And the first step, I'm going to break down 5 steps tonight. The first step is you create what you are, not what you want, right? So first, before you go to work on other people, you got to go to work on yourself, right? So the prime example is like a lion gives birth to a lion. And I know what you're thinking right now. Man, I'm glad I got on this call, man. This guy's dropping really good nuggets. You know what I mean? You're like, this guy really is not that smart, right? But a lion will give birth to a lion. A lion doesn't give birth to zebras, right? A lion doesn't give birth to crocodiles, right? A lion gives birth to lions. So you're going to give birth to what you are, and I think I spelled develop wrong. Look at that. Look at me. I made this training today and I didn't spell check it. So I proved you guys how smart I am not, okay? So I spelled develop wrong, but a lion gives birth to lions. Okay, they give birth to lions. And that's exactly what our business is about, right? It's about developing other people, right? You've got to help other people become successful and develop them. You give birth to other leaders, okay, as you grow and develop. So everybody knows in our business, right, to make a lot of money as a team leader, you want to have 10 legs of senior managers running, right? If you got 3 or 4, that's great. People always talk to me, they're like, how'd you guys do it so fast? One of the things that we did so fast is because we didn't have it takes 4 director legs to hit national director, right? We didn't just have 4 legs. If we would have had 4 legs, those guys wouldn't have been motivated. They would have been like, well, if you want to get to national director, you got to make me a director. But instead, we had multiple legs and was like, whoever the first 4 are, man, let's go, let's run. We're going to get to national director. Right now, we're running for national director. We're going to get it done. Who's it going to be? So as you're building your team, you want to ultimately get 10 legs of senior managers. Now, realize It might take you, you might hit team leader in 3 or 4 months, right? With 3 or 4 senior manager legs or 5 even, but you want to keep building until you get your 10 legs running. Okay. This is so important because it helps you make a lot of open line money. And the more money you make, the more money you can teach other people to make. So the key is building that solid foundation. Obviously, we only need 3, but you never want to make your minimums or maximums, right? So build wide. My mentor said, go wide for profitability, build depth for stability, right? So you guys all know senior manager qualifications, 6,000 in personal SP between anything that you buy or sell and anybody you recruit as a planner, whatever they buy or sell. And you can count up to 3,000 from one recruit. So like when I came in, I bought 6,000, right? Because I knew I needed the products. I mean, I need as much products as possible, right? And I bought tons of products with Riman, right? Because the product is the superstar in Riman. So the more products I have, the more sales force I've got, right? How big do you want your sales force to be? And understanding like as a business, like when you think about it from a business perspective, if you own a business, what kind of profitability are you looking for, right? The average business profits about 7%, right? Annually, right? So when you think about, those are just profitable businesses, obviously, but 7% is a good profit. Think about it, honestly, right? But so let's say that you want to start your own skincare company. How would you do it, right? Would you be able to find and make your own plant? You know what I mean? So when you look at Riman, if you wanted to be successful in business, how could you go create your own plant? How could you go find water inside of a volcano? These products are next level. But look at the percentage you make now. As a senior manager, on all the customers you get, you're going to profit 30%. There's no business that has good quality products where you can profit 30%. Like that does not. You look at a grocery store profits about 1 to 2%. You know what I mean? If you own an automobile company, you're talking about 3%. Like if you can earn 30% profits, and if you're a super seller, you can get that 10% extra retail. It's unbelievable what you can earn here, but we've got to make sure we understand that this is what we've got to do. We've got to get people to senior manager right away. If you want to develop leaders and you want to develop leadership and teach people how to become successful, you first got to get them to senior manager. If you're right now in the business and not a senior manager, you're the most important person on this call. You're the most important person because we want to get you to senior manager, right? The whole business is about finding people that are not senior managers and making senior manager. And once you become a senior manager, what do you want to do? You want to develop other what? Senior managers, right? I mean, that's the magic. How do you become a director, right? You have a minimum of 3 team leaders, and team leaders are created by what? Senior managers. So creating senior managers, that whether it's director or senior director or national director, all those titles basically mean is that you have done a good job you've done a good job at making sure that you created senior managers. That's really the key, right? So you want to make sure no matter what, you create senior managers. That's the secret to success, right? So step number 2, becoming a senior manager is the most important rank. Okay. You're going to love this training right now that I'm about to give you. Senior manager is the most important rank. Let's talk about it. Okay. This is step number 2, developing leaders, is understanding this is you want to help people develop, when you first get in, you've got to develop your senior manager run success testimonial, right? Your story on how you did it, your success story on how you became a senior manager, right? And so when people get started, everybody wants to run for senior manager right now. And the reason why they want to run for senior manager right now is everybody wants to get to senior manager before Black Friday. Everybody wants to get to senior manager before Black Friday. Why? It's obvious, right? So you can maximize what's going to happen this entire week. Step number 2 is people do what you do. Guess what? Not what you say. Okay. So understand the speed of the pack is going to be determined by the lead dog. And you got to realize when you get started in Riman, you're going to be a leader, right? You're going to be the lead dog of your team. And at the beginning, you might not have anybody on your team, right? And then you start learning the skills, learning the story, and then bam, you get a person. Then you get another person on your team. Now you're growing a team. But the faster you get to senior manager, that's the speed that you're creating. So go senior manager so you can create other senior managers. Okay. Now the third thing is what? Once you become a senior manager, you're going to be completely convinced, right? You're going to convince yourself without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, that you're going to become a director. Because once you go senior manager, you know you're going director. You know it. Because if you could become a senior manager, all you have to do is what? Teach other people to go what? Senior manager. So you go senior manager. Now you know you can do it. Now all you have to do is replicate it and teach it to others. It's super simple, right? So once you become a senior manager, from that point on, all you're going to be doing is developing senior managers and developing leadership. So once you decide, hey, I'm going senior manager, it's how you develop leadership. You make a decision that you're going senior manager. And then what will happen as a result of that, Once you get done with that, you're like, okay, now I know I can become successful. Now I know I can become wealthy. Now I know I can become a director. I know I can become a senior director. I can become a national director. Because now all I got to do is teach other people to do what I just did. And it's like, if you're humble, I'm humble enough to know that I'm not special. I know that I'm nobody. I'm not special. I was a high school dropout, right? I was homeless before I got involved in this industry 30 years ago. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's where that ability to be able to motivate people comes from, because you know that you can do it because you can help other people do it, right? So the reason why becoming a senior manager is the most important rank is by becoming a senior manager, what you do is you give yourself, you basically have a bulletproof vest against toxic dream stealers, right? Negative, a success shield, I like to call it, against SNIOPs. And what's a SNIOP is susceptibility of negative influence of other people. When you're susceptible to the negative influences of other people. So my mentor told me there's SNIOPs out there that are going to try to steal your dreams. People that don't see themselves becoming successful, they're going to say, what makes you think you can become successful, right? And it's not like it was 30 years ago when I got involved. Nowadays, people know that times have changed, right? Nowadays, people are looking for ways outside of the traditional, 9 to 5. People don't want to get on that 40 plan, work 40 hours a week for 40 years and try to retire on 40% what you couldn't live on already, okay? You want to make sure right now that you get it more than ever before, that this is special. This moment in time will never happen again, right? And having a chance to be able to become successful financially, there's never going to be a moment in time like this again. Realize we got the best products I've ever seen in direct sales. Everybody agrees, nobody disagrees, right? We got the most aggressive compensation plan we've ever seen, highest percentage of payouts. And if you don't believe me, sit down with me in a calculator and you literally will lose your mind like a set of keys. And the third thing I want to share with you is what, right? This is the biggest thing I want to share with you. Where can you go and profit this much? Think about it. How much you can't profit like this anywhere else in any other business. So once you become a senior manager, you got that bulletproof vest. Number 5 is this. You establish the right senior manager culture, right? When you become a senior manager, now you start to establish the right senior manager culture in your organization. To me, it's like, Halloween or in our country, everybody goes trick-or-treating, right? They knock on doors and get candy, dress up in costumes and get candy. Little kids do that. And Christmas, right? We get a big tree, people get presents and stuff like that. So you realize that you got to establish the right senior manager culture in your organization, okay? Because a team's culture is established in its very early days. And once it's ingrained, it becomes very hard to change. So once you create that senior manager culture, that's why everybody wants to go on that senior manager run right now, right? Because once they go senior manager, that's the most important rank. And they start to establish that culture within their team by leading by example. The sixth thing is what? Let's face it, right? Success breeds success, okay? The best recruiting tool is what? Success, right? And once you hit senior manager, people are going to look at you different, right? They know that you know what you're doing, right? When I got involved in this industry, I had no idea what I was doing 30 years ago. But I can remember when I hit that first rank, it unlocked for me. I got it. And I can tell you right now that success breeds success. So the best recruiting tool you have is success. So as you start to become successful, other people are going to want to join you. They're going to get swept up by all the momentum that you're creating, okay? And number 7 is once you become a senior manager, you become a North Star of hope, right? You become a lighthouse of possibilities for everybody on your team. As you start to develop a team, they're looking at you as the leader. And once you go senior manager, they're like, oh my God, if you can do it, I can do it, right? If you can do it, you can show me how to do it. So to be that lighthouse of possibilities, you've got to set that pace and say, I'm going senior manager right now, no matter what, right? And then number 8, after you become a senior, I love this one. After you become a senior manager, you can now take people where they want to go because you've now mastered the basic building blocks of success. That's why becoming senior manager is so important. You master the basic building blocks of success, okay? Now this is a big one, right? Step number 3, how you can become a senior manager before Black Friday, okay? Now, I know Black Friday's right around the corner, but you want to become a senior manager before Monday on the 24th. I know that might sound like a pretty huge goal, but I can tell you that you can do it. It's a decision, man. It's a decision. Once you decide, you're going to make it happen, okay? So let's talk about it, okay? If you become a senior manager, you want to become a senior manager, everybody wants to rank up right now like ASAP, because if you hit right before midnight on the 24th, on the 25th, bam, you're getting paid, right, as a senior manager, right? You're getting paid. And I think actually, I think I have the dates wrong on that. 24th is actually when Black Friday starts. So you actually want to be before noon, right? Before the Black Friday launch, then you're going to get paid on those Black Friday sales. But if you become a senior manager after, right, you're not going to get paid on that. You're not going to get paid as a senior manager because you did it after the promotion, right? Now, if you do it at the end of the month, right at the end of the 28th, you hit senior manager, you miss out on all the Black Friday stuff. So you want to make sure right now you put your blinders on to become a senior manager before Black Friday, okay? Because this is going to be big, right? So let's look at it, okay? How do you become a senior manager before Black Friday? Number one, you start with the end in mind. Let's start with the end in mind, always, right? You got to visualize yourself becoming a senior manager. You got to be able to say, man, I can see it now in my mind's eye, me becoming a senior manager. You got to see it, before it becomes a reality, right? So you can manifest it, right? You got to see it in your mind, know that it's going to happen, know that you're going to get the job done, know that you're going to make it happen. And then number two is on your senior manager run, what you want to do is you want to avoid the emotional roller coaster, right? People won't follow people that can't control their emotions, right? Sometimes people, oh my God, somebody, and they get excited because someone said yes, and then someone said no, and they're down, and they're excited because someone said yeah, they want to hear about it, and then they didn't show, and then they're sad. I'll be at your pop-up, and then they don't show. You understand? Cut all that out, right? We're not jumping on the attitude roller coaster, right? We're not jumping on the emotional roller coaster. We're laser beam focused right now. We're on a run, right? We're on a senior manager run right now. And that's the attitude that you've got to have in your mind, like, boom, I'm going to the top. Now, number three is this. You got to raise your belief system, right? If one person can become a senior manager, then it's possible that you can become a senior manager. Before Chris and I got involved in Riman, how long was Riman around, right? What, like 6-7 years? And nobody hit national director yet. Once we did it, other people started becoming national director too, right? So once you do it, right? Once you make it happen, now everybody knows they can do it. And people have hit senior manager in Riman. A lot of people have, right? So realize if other people can do it, you can do it. You can make it happen. You can get the job done. So you got to raise your belief system to a point, no matter what, that you're going senior manager, right? Number four, make 100% total non-negotiable commitment on becoming a senior manager today. Once you make a decision and you make that decision in your mind, you make that decision in your heart that says, man, I'm going senior manager today, bam, you're going to make it happen. It's a mindset, right? That commitment. Once you say, this is it, this is my time, I'm going to get the job done over, under, through, man, I'm going senior manager. That's a commitment, right? That's a decision. And a lot of you I know are already senior managers, but you got to get this dialogue down so you can start creating senior managers. Okay. The reason why I'm doing this training right now is because you got to learn how to develop other leaders like yourself, right? So if you're already a senior manager, you're like, oh, I don't have to listen to this. You need to get down my vocabulary. You need to get down my understanding of how important it is to create senior managers. Okay, I'm teaching you right now with this training how to develop leaders. Okay, it's by making a non-negotiable commitment that you're going senior manager. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about step number 5. People be afraid not to join you when they know that you know where you're going. Whoa, say it again, Tim. People will be afraid not to join you when they know that you know where you're going. When you get started in Riman and you're like, man, I'm going senior manager no matter what, right? I'm on a senior manager run. I'm going to get that job done. I'm going senior manager. People are going to be afraid not to get started with you because they can tell you're up to something. You got that eye gaze, right? You got that look in your eye that says, I'm up to something, and people want to join that. Okay. Now, number 6 is this. I call it the 5 Ps, right? Proper preparation prevents poor productivity. Okay. Meaning what? You got to be prepared, right? You got to look at what's going on, right? When you whip yourself into a frenzy and you're going on a Black Friday run, a senior manager run before Black Friday, you got to realize this, right? And I love what Chris said is you're rounding the bases, right? We got Monday's event, right? We got Monday, we got an overview. So you want to make sure that right now that you're building up all this, all the pop-ups that we've got going on this weekend, all the follow-ups that we want to make, getting the products on people, getting everybody exposed to the business, getting everybody excited about the Riman products. Understand what happens when we do that, right? We're going to get a lot of excitement. People are going to want to buy a lot of products. They're going to be, I want to get this stuff. I want to get this stuff. I want to get this stuff. And whenever they're buying it, what happens? Right? That volume counts for your senior manager, but you got to be prepared, right? You got to be prepared. Proper preparation, right? If you show up to a K-pop and you don't have any products, or you've only got a little bit of cream in your jar, you might not be, open-minded to sharing it with many people, right? That's why you want to make sure that you've got your products, that you're prepared to become successful, okay? Number 7 is what, right? Surround yourself with positive cheerleaders, not toxic dream stealers, right? When you're going on your Black Friday run, that's why you get on these calls. People ask me, say, Tim, I love these calls. And people tell me all the time, they're like, I love these calls because they keep me fired up. They keep me focused. And I believe that bathing and motivation are very similar, right? Bathing isn't permanent, right? Bathing, somebody's like, man, I've been on the orientation call. I got that already. It's like, whoa, I took a shower yesterday, but I'm still going to do it today. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, I brushed my teeth once and I'm pretty good from here on out, right? No, you got to do some things consistently. Motivation is the same way. That's why I get on the orientation calls. That's why I get on these daily Zooms, right? Get on these calls. I learn, right? I'll go back to Team 1% page and I'll watch them again, right? I'll watch them again because I want to get around positive people. I want to learn from the best, right? I want to learn from the people right now that are making it happen. I want to get around positive people. You see how smart that is? So you want to get around toxic, you want to get around positive people, not positive cheerleaders, not toxic dream stealers, right? And then obviously number 8 is take full advantage of the system to become a senior manager, right? Right now you're taking advantage of the system, getting on the calls. It's very simple, right? Get people overviews, right? Pop-ups, right? Orientations, right? And right now what we're doing is sharpening our axe. So you want to build around the system. The system's gonna, people always ask me, like, Tim, I can call people. I was talking to a lady the other day, real influential, just got started with this, started at manager. Say, I could call people up right now and just tell them to join, and they're just gonna join. I go, that's great. You got a lot of influence, but that's not duplicatable. You got to be duplicatable, right? If you had an organization, let's say of 1,000 people right now, how are you going to be able to train them, right? How you do that is by creating a culture where everybody's plugging into the orientations and the trainings and the Zooms that are going on. You don't have to be on every single one of them, obviously, right? I mean, we're talking about a 30-minute commitment a day, right? I mean, geez, 30 minutes a day, Tim. Wow, I don't know if I could do that. But what I'm telling you is get the recordings. How many of you are going back listening to the recordings and learning from them, right? It's like, if you want to be successful fast, you got to expedite your learning, right? Expedite the learning process. That's how I was able to do it real quickly, right? Is I learn at a rapid rate. Why? Because I got a pen and paper out, and I just started writing everything down. So take advantage of the system, obviously, to be able to become a senior manager. And this is how you're going to become a senior manager before Black Friday, is understanding that becoming a senior manager is easier to do fast than it is do slow, right? It's just like doing the laundry, right? You can put one sock in the laundry, wait a couple days, put another sock in the laundry, wait a couple days, put a pair of underwears in there, wait a couple days, put a shirt in there, wait a couple days. But by the time you get done with that load of laundry, you're going to have a bigger load waiting for you, right? So you got to have that speed and exposure, right? Becoming a senior manager understands it's easier to do fast than it is to do slow. To me, it's easier to talk to 10 people a day than one a day. It's easier to talk to 10 people a day than one a day. Why? Because I'm fired up and excited, and I'm going to talk to people. But if I talk to one person, and it's like, now what do? Right? It's like, find people no matter what. I can remember we got started in Riman. It was like, I got to get in front of people. I got to get in front of people. I got to get in front of people. So just running around finding people that were warm bodies that I could talk to about Riman. And I'm getting them started like that because I'm excited. I know what's going to happen. I got the vision, right? I know that we're going to become wealthy. I know that we're going to become successful. I know that all of you right now that are plugging in this call, if you're willing to take action and make a commitment, you're going to the top. Why? Because you're learning the information right now that it takes to be able to unlock massive success in this business, right? Now, let's talk about how to become a senior manager before Black Friday. Is on your senior manager run, you got to be a good finder, not a fault finder, right? 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, 3 + 3 is 6, 4 + 4 is 7, 5 + 5 is 9. When I show that to people, what everybody always says is they say, Tim, 4 + 4 is 8, man. It's not 7. That's wrong. Because we've been conditioned to look for what's wrong with stuff. You got to look for what's right with stuff. Look at what you love. What are you excited about? And you'll get more of it, right? That's how gratitude and excitement works. You got to be fired up and look at what you like, not what you don't like. If somebody says no, boom, forget about it. Like I've got the memory of literally like, a goldfish, man. It's like, bam, next. I just focus in and I'm looking for the lookers, right? I don't get upset. My highs aren't too high. My lows aren't too low. I just stay positive all the time. Yeah. And the reason being is because I'm looking for the good. I'm looking for the things that I like, right? So number 11 is this. On your senior manager run, guess what you want to do? You want to overbook your schedule with what? Money-making activities. What's a money-making activity? In the presence of prospects. What's not money-making activities? Everything else. Everything else. Get in front of prospects. Get in front of people and talk to them about the products and talk to them about the opportunity. And if right now you don't know how to talk about the products and the opportunity, connect them with somebody that does. Right? You don't have to know a lot to slap some cream on somebody's face. It's not like we've got to be too smart over here to do this, right? You guys saw earlier I spelled develop wrong, right? So you don't have to be a genius. All you got to do is find a wrinkle and put some product on it. Bam, we're making money. Let's go. It's not hard, right? Don't overthink this stuff, okay? Track your progress as senior manager. You're going to organize or agonize. You got to know how far you are, where you need to be at. On your senior manager run, you want to stay excited. You want to stay passionate. The most powerful weapon, I love this, the most powerful weapon on earth is a human soul on fire. When you're on fire and you're fired up and passionate, that's the most powerful weapon, right? So when you're on your senior manager run, man, you got to stay fired up, man. You got to stay excited. You got to stay passionate because there's nothing more powerful than a human soul on fire. That's how you become a senior manager before Black Friday. Now, number four, step number four, you're going to love this. Why you want to become a senior manager factory. Okay. Now, this is it, right? Some of you are already senior managers. Okay. This is going to be directly to you. Now, if you're not a senior manager yet, we got to get you there. Then you want to be implementing this information. So learn it now because you're going to be a senior manager really quickly. And then bam, you're going to be off to the races because now you're getting basically, you're learning this stuff before you're even a senior manager. This is Jackpot City is what this is. I feel good. Understand this. When you look at your organization, right, it's very much like a thermometer and a thermostat, right? A thermostat, right? A thermostat will do what? It can change the temperature. A thermometer does what? It records the temperature. So you have a thermometer will tell you what your temperature is, okay? How do you know what your temperature is? How many brand new people are getting started in your organization, right? How many brand new people are getting started on your team? That'll tell you the temperature of your team. But how you change it is the amount of new senior managers that are getting created. Meaning what? If you're creating more senior managers, you're going to change your organization. It's going to grow fast. If you want to triple your volume, you double the amount of senior managers you create every month. I'm going to say it again. If you want to triple your volume, double the amount of senior managers you create. If you want to 10x your volume, turn into a senior manager factory. Senior manager factory. I'm about to give you guys the good news right now. You're going to love this. I'm so excited about this, okay? Becoming a senior manager factory will do it'll 10x your team's income. 10x your team's income. Why? I'm going to tell you why. When everybody's succeeding, you're going to create massive momentum. You want to 10x your team's income? Become a senior manager factory. Watch this, right? Your team's going to be armored against SNIOPs, right? When you become a senior manager factory, your team negativity bounces right off of them, right? You know, you're rubber, I'm glue, whatever you say sticks, you know, boom, 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 let's go, right? You're fired up because everybody's winning, right? Everybody's winning. When you're creating senior manager, what's happening is you're creating team leaders, directors, everything revolves around creating senior managers, okay? So when you turn into a senior manager factory, your team is going to be locked in, right? When you become a senior manager factory, what you're going to find out is that simplicity breeds duplication. Right? It's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Simplicity breeds duplication. The reason why I'm able to duplicate so much is why? Because I don't complicate it. It's like playing tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready or not? Here I come. Tag you, tag you, tag you, tag you. That's it. Let's go. Dummy it down. Some of you are too smart for your own good. Okay? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I don't know how to spell Centella Asiatica. I don't know how to spell that. I can spell tiger grass, but not Centella Asiatica. You understand? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it fun, simple, duplicatable, and turn your organization into a senior manager factory. When you put the law of explosive growth to work for you, you understand you add growth by leading followers, but you multiply growth by leading leaders. See, when you're creating senior managers, you're going to start developing leaders in your organization. And the law of explosive growth, right? Compound interest. It's going to start, I call it geometric progression, where it just grows out of control. How do you get that? By turning your organization into a senior manager factory. If I called every person on your team and asked them what their primary focus is, what's your number one focus? If they don't say, I want to become a senior manager more than anything else, I know that you're not doing a good job of getting people focused on it, right? If you're on this call right now and you're brand new, and you've been in maybe for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, and you're like, man, nobody's talking to me about this senior manager like you have. That's the reason why I'm on this side of the money, right? If you want to make a fortune, you got to be obsessed with creating senior managers because that's how you get people to become successful. Once somebody goes senior manager, you know they're going team leader. Once they go team leader, you know they're going director. Once they go director, you know they're going senior. You understand? They're going to grow through the comp plan and they're going to become successful. You know, I'm not looking for people that are just going to join that want to make $50 a month, right? And I'm not trying to invest my time into somebody like that because they're going to stop working after like 3 days because they're making $50. Have one pop up, they're done for the month. Like, what am I going to do with them? I'm looking for people that want to be able to create wealth, right? That really want to help other people become successful. And how do I find those people? By being a senior manager factory. Recognition is everything. Understand that babies cry for it and soldiers die for it, right? You've got to recognize your people. You got to focus on being the spotlight, not needing the spotlight. Get everybody else feeling good about themselves by creating senior managers. I'm going to wrap this thing up here in a second here. The slowest way to director is to focus on director. The fastest way to director is focusing on developing senior managers. That's why when you turn your organization into a senior manager, when you become a senior manager factory, Okay, your organization is going to grow so fast. You've got to get focused. If you focus like a magnifying glass on a hot summer day in one area, boom, and a piece of paper, dry paper will burst into flames. But if you move it around and you're not focused, it won't create that fire. So you've got to make sure you understand if you want to be a director, you want to be a team leader, you want to be a national director, a senior, all these top ranks, all you got to do is become a senior manager factory and your organization will perpetuate like never before. Okay. You understand this. When you become a senior manager factory, you're going to strengthen the relationships with your team, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And when you're focusing in on their success and you're becoming a senior manager factory, you create this bond. You create this family culture, this relationship that's unbreakable because you're focusing in on their success. Focus on other people's success and yours is guaranteed. Help other people get what they want and you'll get what you want. So you strengthen your relationship when you turn into a senior manager factory. And this is the biggest one, right? Your team will get excited when the only focus is to create new senior managers. Because it's simple. It's easy. Let's go. And everybody's going to be excited. But if you're like, okay, this, that, and the other thing, you're getting them confused, man. Let's just go out there, find somebody that's not a senior manager, make them senior manager. How do we do that? Find some wrinkles, man. You know, get some customers, get some customer getters. That's it. What do we do? Get customers, get customer getters. When we're done doing that, what do we do? Get customers, get customer getters. Once we get customer getters, what do we do? Develop leadership, turn them into senior managers. Okay? Turn them into senior managers. And that's got to be the focus, right? So here it is. This is the last step, step number 5, why you want to master the connection call, right? The connection call is like when somebody joins and they're brand new, you want to get them connected with your upline for a connection call or a connection Zoom, right? Usually it's the team leader. Sometimes it's the senior manager that's running for team leader, right? But I can tell you right now, mastering the connection call is how you really create massive success. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why you want to master the connection call. Understand this, right? If you love the products and you share that enthusiasm and you transfer that emotion, what's going to happen is you're going to get new customers. Okay. How do you get new customers? Fall in love with the products, share that enthusiasm, transfer that emotion, people will become customers, right? Now, if you love the opportunity and you share that enthusiasm and transfer that emotion, you're going to get brand new planners, right? And if you love making senior managers and you share that enthusiasm, right? And you transfer that emotion, your organization is going to be motivated, man. Your team's going to be on fire. Okay. So we've got to get excited like never before about helping our brand new people achieve massive success and get out of the gates fast. So we all know this. If you're brand new, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know all these steps, but somebody gets started. Typically, that's how it goes, right? We do a connection call with them, basically get them into an orientation or do basically, get the orientation teed up for them, right? And then we set up a time for to be able to do their launch meeting, right? To be able to launch their business, right? Launch their organization, pop up, right? And the first, if they want to make it happen fast, do it in 24, 48 hours, right? If they want to make a lot of money quick, if I call somebody and say, hey man, what have you got going on right now? Tomorrow, man, you got to cancel it. Got to get over to my house. I got something big going on. I got to show you. There's more urgency there than if I say, hey, I'm going to be doing this K-pop up 6 weeks from now. You understand? Like, it's like the speed and exposure, the excitement, the passion, and doing it quick, it's a lot easier, right? Because people they're gonna duplicate what you're doing. So then we teach them how to attract and invite, right? And we do pre-talk and form, find out, connect with people whenever we're talking to them about Riman, find out what their hot buttons are. We expose them the opportunity through a pop-up or Zoom, show them what we're doing. I like to do a lot of one-on-one Zooms throughout the day, just doing presentations. And if they have an objection, kind of help them overcome it. You know what I mean? Enroll, receive payment, get them to pick a pack, plug them into the daily Zooms, right? And then obviously create them as a senior manager and do what? Connection call again. You want to just keep doing connection. The most important step's that connection call because they're not going to do step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and 9 if we don't get number 1 down pat. So the key to creating more duplication and creating more what? Senior managers is mastering that connection call. So let's talk about it, okay? Think of it like what? Think of it like a little baby, right? A little baby gets started in life. They don't know what's going on, right? So that first 24 to 40 hours is so important to get them connected, right? With somebody that's been in the business. Like if you're brand new, you should know who your upline team leader is. If not, you should know who you're working with right now that's running for team leader. Okay. And if not, and maybe your team leader's not fired up, man, just let me know, man. I'll run with you, right? I'm running nonstop. So what happens? People are excitement. Here's the time frame. Time goes on. People get started. They're excited, right? We do a connection call with them, man. They're fired up and excited. When we do their launch party, right? Their launch Zoom, whatever it is, their pop-up, get their buddies expose the opportunity. And then bam, we get them to senior manager. And then guess what? Boom, we get them a team leader. Just like that. Bam, bam, bam. But that first step, that connection call is important because what happens if somebody gets started and they're excited, but we don't do a connection call or welcome call with them and we don't connect with them, then guess what? Boom, they're in the toilet. right? They're in the toilet, right? We don't want people in the toilet, okay? So we've got to make sure that we're doing what? That connection call. That connection call is what's going to get them into action, okay? So let's talk about that connection call. Why do we do a connection call? Why do we do a connection call? And I'm telling you right now, if I ask 100 of my team leaders, I'm telling you what, I'd probably get 75 different answers. There's one answer, right? There's one answer. It's not open for debate, right? The reason why you do a connection call is to get them from basically being toe in to all in on a senior manager run, right? It's like, that's the magic of it, okay? When I'm talking to somebody on a call, on a connection call, yeah, I'm connected with them, I'm finding out what their why is, right? But more importantly, what I'm doing is I'm getting them excited and fired up and focused about being a senior manager because I want to develop them as a leader, okay? So I'm getting them committed to go on a senior manager run with me, okay? To go on a senior manager run with me and get them to senior manager. That's why I do the connection calls, okay? I get people lit on fire, and you got to have confidence. When you use connection calls, if you launch somebody and you don't have a lot of confidence, or you have a lot of confidence, is a big difference, right? Launching somebody in confidence is kind of like this, right? Imagine there's a 2x4 on between two chairs, a little board that you could walk across in between two chairs, maybe a foot or two off the ground. And you told somebody, hey, walk across this, I'll give you $1,000. All day long, what are people going to do, right? They're going to walk across that, no problem, right? Let's go. Now, if I took that same 2x4 and I put it in 40 stories off the ground, my mentor taught me this, it made so much sense. If you make it 40 stories off the ground, put that same 2x4 in between those buildings and said, walk across, I'll give you $1,000, nobody's going to do it. Why? Because they're going to get scared, right? If I fall, man, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? They're going to go, wow, I'm going to go splat, right? So people don't want to fall. So you've got to have confidence. You've got to know that you can take them to where they want to be, right? And realize this. If you're not a senior manager yet, you'll get that confidence once you go senior manager, okay? And if you've already rank advanced to senior manager, you got it, man. You did it. You can help other people do it too, okay? You can help other people do it too. So let's talk connection call, fast track, and regular track. Get them committed to a senior manager run. That's the most important thing, okay? Walk them through the enrollment, how to use links, touch a heart before you ask for a hand. These are just some tips, right? I don't do all this on all these ones. I do a lot of vision casting, finding out their why. I do a lot of that. I get them to pick a pack, right? Make sure that they've got products. We're not going to be able to go to war with a spoon, right? You know what I mean? We got to make sure that we've got the weapons that we need, which is the products, right? The products are what's going to, I'm in a war on wrinkles, man. I'm knocking wrinkles off people's faces. I need to make sure we got weapons, right? So they can become successful. Schedule the pop-up, right? Their launch pop-up or a launch call if people are all over the place. If they want to go fast, 24, 40 hours, right? Speed and exposures, success loves speed, right? And rank advance your new team planner to senior manager. That's your focus. That's it. There is no other focus, right? Get somebody in, get them a senior manager. That's it. Like, we want to make sure that we help them make money. That's how you develop them as a leader. Get them to senior manager so they can win, right? So if somebody wants to get on the fast track, they want to become a senior manager 1 to 4 weeks. Bam. That's somebody that wants to make 500 to 1,000 a week or 500,000 a day. And then some people want to make 500,000 a month. That's a normal track, man. That's 1 to 3 months, right? But we want to be fast. We want to get it done quick. I promise you, senior manager really only takes 7 days at the most to do it, okay? At the most. Right now with Black Friday coming up, we're going to be creating more senior managers than ever before. But the people that get it done before, they're the ones that are going to benefit from all that volume, all that action, all that excitement. So right now, everybody's running for senior manager right now, right? They're on a fast track. Like, this is it. This is game. We're in the Super Bowl right now. This Olympics are making money right now. This is the Super Bowl making money right now. Black Friday, man. Black Friday is just 1 week in November, but it's really the whole month of November. And it's really the 4 months before all add up to that 5th month. So it's 4 months before, and then November, and then 4 months after. Why? Because the people that have a lot of volume this month, how many months do you get to chase that volume to be a team leader? Becoming a team leader is 50,000 volume over a 5-month time. So November, you get to count that same volume in what? December, January, February, March. So you got to be thinking right now, what do we got going on right now? With the Black Friday, then people get the what? Right? They get the reward, they get the rewards, right? That they can get, they can claim in December to get a discount in December. So you're going to get a ton of volume in December by helping people use their basically rebate. Okay. And then what happens, right? We got in February, we got the big convention in Long Beach going on. So you want to be running like never before right now. This is the perfect time because you got 4 more months after November to take advantage of all that volume right now. Okay, I'm so excited right now. So you guys realize why you want to master the connection call. When people get started, MLM is like a bucket. Network marketing, direct selling, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me, right? Relationship marketing, but there's a bucket and there's a hole in it, right? It's just like the gym, it's just like relationships, it's like anything, right? And what happens is when people get started in Riman, what happens is they get started in this industry, they get in this bucket, they get in this bucket, they get in this bucket, right? Some get started faster, some get started slower. But the problem is there's a bucket, there's a hole in that bucket. And when I heard that, my mentor told me this 30 years ago, I said, why don't we clog that hole, right? And he said, well, the reality is that you can't clog that hole in the bucket. Why? I told him, ask him why. And he said, because that's just the way that it is. Life is like that. Okay. You're going to have people at the gym that buy gym memberships come January 1st to January 7th. Everybody's committed, right? But what happens is people start to quit, right? Relationships, people quit relationships, right? How many people have been in a relationship for that they're not in anymore, right? Did you ever have a boyfriend and girlfriend before you got married? So what happens is people fall out of the bucket. So it used to drive me crazy, right? My mentor said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, but you can learn how to make him thirsty. And that's the connection call. And he says, if you can learn how to get people excited about hitting senior manager, right? You're going to become successful because when people get started in Riman, you got to grow people, right? The bigger they are, the harder it is to fall out of the bucket. So if this is the size of a brand new planner, this might be the size of a senior manager, right? They're harder to fall out of the bucket. And if they go senior manager, what are they going to do? They're going to hit team leader for sure. And if they hit team leader, they're going to go director. So once you start growing your people, they can't fall out of the bucket. And the key to helping people get to become successful is that first 24 to 48 hours. So let me wrap this thing up here right now. It all starts with faith, man. You got to believe right now, no matter what, that this is it. You got to know that this is my time. This is my chance. I'm going to the top. I got the faith, right? I know that it's going to happen. I've got that belief system. I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going senior manager, man. I know I'm going to create a senior manager. I'm going to start developing leaders right now like never before. And when you have that faith and that belief, what happens is you start to get enthusiastic. And the last 4 letters of enthusiasm is IASM, which means I am sold myself. Well, you believe, you are 100%, this is it. Like, I know Riman is it. I know this is it. We are all going to become as successful as we want to be with this opportunity, okay? You just got to bring your desire to the table, man. We're going to make it happen together. And that enthusiasm is going to get you to take action. And guess what's going to happen? That action is going to get you the results, and then you're going to get more faith. You're going to get more belief. But don't focus on what? Getting more results. Focus on getting more belief, more faith. You got to have that faith to know that it's going to happen. And that belief and that faith and that conviction in your heart is going to get you excited. And that enthusiasm, when you take action and you're on fire, people are going to be attracted to you because they can see that you're up to something. They know you've got your hands on something special. That's when the results are going to follow. So let's talk about it, right? Have 3 guests on the Monday Opportunity Overview. If you have never introduced people to Jermaine on the Opportunity Overview, you got to get them on there, right? Number 2 is what? Next thing we want to do is get all your new planners qualified for the November Fast Start bonus during Black Friday, right? If you help somebody get started in the month of November, right, and they go, what? Senior manager, they're getting a $500 product credit. If they go manager, they're getting $250. If they get $1,000 in personal SP, they get what? Right, $100 free product credit. This is it, man. This is the time to make it happen. And then qualify for Costa Rica right now with Black Friday right around the corner. Never been easier with the double travel points. Man, it's going to be big, right? Double travel points for Costa Rica. This is the time to qualify and go senior manager before the Black Friday week starts, okay? Let's go. We got people that are close right now. Let's get them there, right? Let's knock them off the fence, man. Let's get everybody there. So that being said, man, I just wanted to share with you some of this information that I was taught early on in my career that helped me become, successful in this industry. I'm telling you right now that this is our chance to do something great, but we got to streamline that focus right now and make sure everybody that gets started on our team has success. Make sure that everybody on our team gets the senior manager. And the key to doing that, get them right at the beginning, right when they're brand new and they're fired up. Get connected with them, lay out a game plan and attack. Once you start creating if you can become a senior manager in 3 months, you can become a senior manager in 1 month. The same work. If you can become a senior manager in 1 month, you can become a senior manager in 1 week. It's the same work. Everybody that's senior manager talks to a certain amount of people, right? Whatever that number is. Whatever it is, it's a different number. Some people it's 10, some people it's 20, some people it's 100, some people it's 12. It doesn't matter. But whatever that number is, you can do it in 3 months or you can do it in what? 1 week. But you got to decide right now that you can do it. I'm telling you, got it. We've got the best products on planet Earth. Man, we're making people look better. What? We're making people look better. We're knocking wrinkles out people's faces. Don't let this window of opportunity slip through your fingertips, man. We've got it, right? I'm telling you what, I feel like a dry cleaners. I feel like a dry cleaners. I'm getting wrinkles like a dry, I'm getting rid of all the wrinkles like a dry cleaner would, man. This is our time. This is our chance. Make a decision in your mind and make a decision your heart says, this is it. I'm going to make it happen. I love my family. You got to be thinking right now, I love my family, man. I'm going to make my family proud. I'm going to do something special, man. I'm going to do something great. Starts here and it starts now. I'm going for it. All in, man. I'm making it happen. Let's lock arms right now. Let's run together, make sure that everybody becomes a success. This Black Friday is going to be next level amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Now's the time to take action right now more than ever before. So hopefully tonight some of this information served you, right? I'm going to get the recording up on the Team 1% web, on the Facebook page. Appreciate you guys' commitment to excellence. You guys are amazing. See you guys at the top. Let's have a kick butt Black Friday week. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you back next week. We're going to talk about ranking up fast. Take care, everybody.